Good morning. Come on in and have a seat. We're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Awesome. We're here to recognize the best of the third quarter. And before we get started, Chaplain Thompson will lead us off. Chap?
Let's go to God in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time and this occasion. We thank you for the men and women that we're going to honor today. And we thank you for all the grace you've given them to be nothing less than their very best. We thank you for our agency and the light that they represent to our community, and also the hope and the encouragement that this is a good community and even a better one because of our sheriff's office serving and protecting the people that call St. Lucie County home. Lord, as always, we ask that your hand of safety and protection would rest upon the men and women that keep our community safe, whether it's out on the road or out there at the jail. And we ask also that you bless our civilian staff who work in a timely way to be part of this amazing team. Be with us now, and let your peace, your presence, your power, and your love be with us now and forevermore. Amen.
Amen, Chap. Good. Thank you, Chap. Well, today, after our word ceremony, we have Thanksgiving lunch planned, and next week is Thanksgiving. And I can't thank each of you enough what you do for the office and the community. But most importantly, I just want to thank you what you do for each other. There's never a time when someone is in need that we don't come together, recognize that need, and respond to that need. And this morning, I'm very proud to bring up Wendy Todd. Those of you that don't know Wendy, she's married to Corey. Come on up, Wendy. Corey's been... We're going to put you right in the middle. And I told her we were going to do her first so she can get out of here. She has a bunch of errands to do. But those of you who don't know, her husband Corey, who works out at the jail, has been battling some serious illness. And the jail put together a little fundraiser for 2 days, which was a pizza and wing party. And in 2 days, we collected $3,200 for you. So, oh, you want me to take a picture of that? Okay, sure. Those are all small unmarked bills, so. But thank you, and our prayers are with you, and you're welcome. You're part of our family. God bless you. Chap? Amen. Awesome. Next, I'm going to recognize Lisette Maldonado. Lisette, come on up. On July 16, 2014, Liz was approved by the National Advocate Credentialing Program Review Committee with the designation of Comprehensive Victim Intervention Specialist. The requirements to reach this designation include a minimum of 15,600 hours of experience. And I figured that out. That's like 8 years. Right. Yeah? Okay. 40 hours of A-series training, a minimum of 20 hours B-series training, which included domestic violence, adult and or child sexual assault, and homicide courses. In addition, she had to complete 10 hours of C-Series advanced training in each of those specialties, plus 3 letters of recommendation that attest to Liz's professional skills, ability, and years of experience in the field. as well as an observation of 3 or 4 more case interventions. Liz is the only one, and I can't underscore that enough, the only one on the Treasure Coast to achieve this national certification. Liz, you make us proud. Congratulations. Okay, Department of Law Enforcement, Major Thompson.
Good morning, everybody. The distinct pleasure of doing the Law Enforcement Deputy of the Quarter, Deputy Paul Taylor, Detective Paul Taylor. Come on up, Paul. Detective Taylor began his career with our office in September of 2000. He is also one of CID's field training officers and a member of the bomb disposal team. So if you see him running, get in front of him. Earlier this year, Detective Taylor was assigned to a diesel fuel theft case over at Love's Truck Stop. The Love's company had thefts in over 19 states involving multiple trucks with the same method of operation. The suspect somehow modified the machines at the pump, allowing it to continue pumping fuel well beyond the preset amount. On July 29th, Patrol received a fuel theft in progress report at Love's Truck Stop. Detective Taylor responded and conducted interviews of a suspect. Although the suspect denied being involved in any of the fuel thefts, he kept mentioning a particular corporation name of Froilon. Detective Taylor confirmed that 883 gallons of diesel fuel were stolen that night from Love's, and the suspect was ultimately arrested. Detective Taylor then seized the suspect's truck, trailer, and was able to identify Froilon from the Department of Transportation list. Detective Taylor then spent many hours watching Love's company video surveillance from different states where the fuel thefts has occurred. Detective Taylor was able to identify 7 different drivers and 5 different trucks, which he obtained arrest warrants on 4 suspects for thefts. Detective Taylor also and the intelligence-led policing unit distributed nationwide bulletins and BOLOs in reference to these fuel thefts. Basically, Detective Taylor took a simple fuel case and put a huge effort into solving it, which also solved crimes nationwide, recovering over $200,000 worth of diesel fuel that was stolen in this ring. Paul, thank you for your hard work and effort.
I would just like to add there is a national discussion going on why gas and diesel prices are so low. Paul Taylor's the answer.
How can you top that, huh? I'm going to go with the volunteers of the quarter. We got 2 of them, Richard and John. Are you both here? I know I've seen John here. Come on up. Richard and John both volunteer a minimum of 2 days a week in CID, although we all know they do much more than that for us. Their duties consist on taking cases that really don't have any leads or suspects, contacting victims, and obtaining any additional information. Collectively, they worked over 80 cases this quarter. On several cases, they've located stolen property in the pond databases. These cases are then turned over to detectives to complete the investigation on them. Both Richard and John also work as poll deputies, and they were real busy this election period in our county. John also volunteers 1 day a week as a parking enforcement deputy. The work they do takes a tremendous load off the detectives and deputies in the organization and provides a valuable service to our community. John, Richard, thank you very much for your efforts. Meritorious Service, Detective Keith Pearson. Where's the dog?
Still recovering from this.
All right. On July 5th of 2014, Detective Pearson volunteered to work in aggressive driving detail. This detail was set up to educate citizens about the dangers of aggressive driving and not wearing safety belts. During the detail, Detective Pearson encountered a vehicle with several occupants who were not wearing their seat belts. The occupants began to act suspicious when they saw Detective Pearson. Geez, I wonder why. Detective Pearson followed the vehicle in an effort to conduct a safe traffic stop. The driver of the vehicle refused to stop and a pursuit was started. One of the occupants threw a handgun out of the window. Detective Pearson immediately relayed this information over the radio to responding units. Then the driver abruptly stopped his vehicle. Two passengers immediately bailed out and began to flee on foot across a canal. Detective Pearson is still alone at this time with no backup units. Detective Pearson stopped his vehicle and began to pursue the suspects on foot across the canal. While on pursuit, he noticed that one of the occupants had an assault rifle in his hand. Again, he communicated this information over the radio to the responding units. Detective Pearson yelled several times to drop the rifle, but the suspect continued to flee. Detective Pearson continued with the chase, giving responding units his direction of travel and other information. Unfortunately, Detective Pearson lost sight of the suspect. However, he established a perimeter and through 9/11, and calls were coming into 9/11 about the suspects knocking on doors trying to find a place to hide. The suspect was found hiding in the back porch of a residence. A loaded AK-47 assault rifle was also located and identified by Detective Pearson as the rifle the suspect was running with. The suspect was Jonathan Peavy, who had active warrants for attempted murder, and he is also a known gang member. Detective Keith Pearson pursued this armed suspect without hesitation. Keith, thank you for putting yourself in line and apprehending this violent criminal.
Just a small addition, when Keith came up to get his award, he said, "Sheriff, I could not have done this alone. It takes a team effort, and my whole shift helped me get this guy." So, Keith, that says a lot about you. And again, there's no I in team. Working together, we get things done. So, good job.
Life-Saving Award, Detective Blatchford, Deputy Devaney, Detective Register, and Deputy Woods. On September 1st, which is Labor Day weekend, these members were patrolling the area of the inlet near the Cove in Marine 2. The Cove area is known for heavy boater traffic during holidays. While patrolling, they observed the victim, Austin Kirkenberg, dive headfirst into the water near his anchored boat. The water depth appeared to be less than 3 feet deep. When Austin's face entered the water, his body abruptly stopped forward movement, causing his legs to bend backwards toward his head. He sat up in the water and grabbed his face. He then fell backwards into the moving water. Knowing that Austin could have severely injured himself, these deputies took immediate action. They requested fire rescue, responded to the Coast Guard station for transport to the hospital. They started moving Marine 2 closer to the victim. They attempted to give orders to the other occupants in Austin's boats. Unfortunately, the occupants could not hear them due to the music and noise from other boaters. Austin was stabilized and taken to the Coast Guard station by Marine 2, where fire rescue had staged and prepared for arrival. Austin was confused and complained of neck and shoulder pain. The deputies had to talk him into being transported to the emergency room for further treatment. Without their direct intervention of these deputies, the victim may have died or been paralyzed. Thank you for a job well done. Life-Saving Award, Detective Gertis, Deputy Papaleo, Deputy Stevens. On July 11th, deputies were dispatched to a suicide attempt. Deputies Papaleo, Gertis, and Stevens were the responding deputies. Upon their arrival, they found a white male sitting outside the front door with wounds to his neck and both wrists. Deputy Papaleo applied pressure to his wrists as Deputy Stevens applied pressure to his neck. When rescue arrived on scene, they attended to the male's wounds. The deputies found a steak knife and screwdriver used by the man in an attempt to commit suicide. During further investigation, they discovered that the man had also taken a large quantity of oxycodone. This discovery further aided in saving the person's life. Without this evidence, the attending physician would have never known that the person took several pills during his suicide attempt. This man was transported to the hospital, treated where he survived, and then taken to the mental health facility for treatment. Good job. Commendation Award, Sergeant Harbin, Detective Hernandez, Detective Sosby, Detective Pearson, Detective Neal, Detective Jaden, Detective Brady, Deputy DeBlick, Deputy Rettler, Deputy Hogan, Officer Robert Jaquez, Officer Doug Brown, Officer Keith Holmes, Officer Guy Montgomery, Officer James Ippolito, Officer Jeffrey Waschendorfer. I hope I didn't butcher anybody's names too bad.
Yeah.
Okay, just Harbin. All right. The 2014 Summer Detail was formed as a multi-agency collaboration with the intention of suppressing criminal activity within the known problem or gang areas in Fort Pierce. Gang-related activity and crimes have shown an increase during the summer months due to school not being in session. The duration was from June 11th through August 16th. Team members patrolled areas where the crime analysis process or activity reports had identified violent crime trends. They apprehended wanted individuals and gathered valuable gang intelligence. The objective of this operation was to improve the safety and quality of life for citizens. If shooting activity calls were dispatched through 9/11, the summer detail team responded and assisted with the investigation. Members checked known problem areas for possible retaliatory shootings. They worked diligently toward the seizure of illegally owned and carried firearms. Almost all of the firearms seized during the summer detail were small caliber handguns, which are easily concealable, therefore more likely to be used in gang-related violence. There were no homicides during the time frame of the detail. The city's violent crime rate was down 44% compared to a previous year. Members of this detail were continuously thanked by citizens they came in contact with for their efforts to identify and arrest known offenders. Good job. Commendation Award, Deputy Jose Estrada. Deputy Estrada here? Good. August 15th, Deputy Estrada was working in the area of Seaway Drive when dispatch put out that an armed robbery occurred on South Beach. The robbery involved two armed black males who had taken a woman's purse. The suspects were in possession of an unknown type handgun. Deputy Estrada responded to the area to assist with the call. He observed two males riding bicycles matching the general description given of the suspects. Deputy Estrada attempted to stop the men, however they fled. Deputy Estrada began a foot pursuit. During the pursuit, he radioed information to other responding units. After a brief chase, he was able to take one into custody. The second male continued running. However, thanks to Deputy Estrada's radio communication, another responding unit caught the second suspect. As it turned out, the first suspect had the victim's cell phone in his pocket. Deputies were able to locate and recover the missing purse. Deputy Estrada, great job, and thank you for a job well done. Commendation Award, Deputy Ed Oxley. Ed here? Come on down. Nope, no Ed, okay. Unit citation for the Agriculture Unit, Deputy Pat Ivy and Deputy Rick Sturr. The Agriculture Unit. The Agriculture Unit is a two-man unit. Not many people realize what they do on a day-to-day basis. They patrol the roads and groves that many of us do not even know exist. That's a true statement. Sometimes response time could be as long as 20 to 30 minutes away for backup units to arrive. On a daily basis, the ranchers, grove owners, and business owners west of Kings Highway contact Detectives Ivy and Sturr about problems, complaints, or hang on guys, or any incidents they feel is a law enforcement issue. They assist animal control with issues pertaining to animal neglect and cruelty complaints. They set traps for wild animals, bobcats, raccoons, dogs, cats, etc. Once caught, they release them back into a safe environment so they cannot get harmed or harm any domestic animals. The Ag Unit deals with cattle theft, and they have taken on the task of residential and business burglaries west of Kings Highway. They work closely with the Freshwater Fish Commission by hunting down poachers. Detectives Ivy and Sturr will lend a helping hand to anyone. For example, transporting equipment to venues such as the fair, transporting evidence, assisting the garage with towing needs. They assist the evidence unit by moving, verifying, and transporting narcotics to be burned up in North Florida. The Ag Unit coordinated with County Road and Bridge to address complaints of illegal dumping out west. The unit has received many accolades from residents in the area, saying how grateful they are for their efforts. These are a few things the unit does every day that often go unnoticed. There's also a rumor out there that SIU has recruited one of our fine detectives, Detective Ivy, to go undercover. Chief, do you have any words to that?
Oh, no. That is true that they're working on Pat going under deep cover. We have some special assignments that we're going to put Pat into because of the fine work that he does. And
On those grow houses, right?
oh yeah, absolutely. So there's more to come, Pat. Believe me, there's more to come.
Good morning. First up is the civilian of the quarter for the Department of Detention, Kathy Archambault. Come on up. Kathy began her career with our agency in October 2007. She is assigned to the classification unit as a population control specialist. This position analyzes the legal status of inmates, monitors their length of stay, and evaluates the legitimacy within the criminal justice system, which ultimately has them released or transferred from our custody. This process has saved the detention budget and the taxpayers countless dollars. Kathy performs her work well above the standard each day she's at work. The main reason she is being recognized today is because on July 18, 2014, she received paperwork from the clerk's office instructing her to drop charges on a very violent inmate. It was her quick thinking and attention to detail that made her question and take a thorough look at the document she received. The document seemed to show the correct name, charge, and case number. However, for some unknown reason, the courthouse clerk had entered a case number for a charge that the inmate was not in jail for. This could have resulted in an erroneous release of a violent inmate back to the streets, but because of her extra attention to detail, the inmate remained incarcerated, waiting for trial. Thank you, Kathy, for a job well done.
And didn't that just happen in DOC not too long ago where they released two murders?
It did. Detention Deputy of the Quarter, Deputy Richard Medina. Deputy Medina is assigned as the jail maintenance deputy. He is a well-rounded, hard-working, and well-respected deputy. The assignments he is given at the jail go well beyond his role as a jail maintenance deputy. For example, during our preparations for the Florida Corrections Accreditation Commission audit for 2014, Deputy Medina's work ethic played a significant role in obtaining one of the longest-standing accreditation records in the state of Florida. While conducting his daily duties, he manages to utilize inmate work crew appropriately and effectively by taking on extra details and completing many facility projects. He always shows respect to anyone with whom he comes in contact with, staff, civilians, or inmates, whether it be for trivial or important reasons. On many occasions, Lieutenant Lyons has observed Deputy Medina de-escalate stressful situations with calmness and an appearance of authority. Deputy Medina also takes on the task as Day 2's Operation Shift Representative. He motivates, speaks to, and challenges all deputies to share their input with him, so he may communicate their concerns with myself and Captain Lawhorn. As we all know, sometimes this task can be stressful, but he sifts through the important information and gives everyone their utmost attention. Congratulations, Deputy Medina. Distinguished Service Award, Deputy Kevin Perkins. Come on up.
Is he on his bike? He's not.
On August 1st through August 4th, Deputy Kevin Perkins participated in the Brotherhood Ride 2014. The mission of the Brotherhood Ride is to provide emotional and financial support to the families of emergency responders who have died in the line of duty. The Brotherhood Ride is a non-profit charitable organization entirely comprised of volunteers who are themselves emergency responders. The 2014 Florida Brotherhood Ride honored 4 law enforcement officers who died in the line of duty in 2013, one of those being Sergeant Gary Morales. This ride started in North Naples, traveled through Clewiston, Port St. Lucie, Lake Placid, and ended in Port Charlotte. Deputy Perkins has demonstrated personal initiative and accomplishment, spending numerous hours of his personal time and funds training to complete in his 350-mile bike ride, as well as work with the community and fundraisers in order to donate $1,640 to this worthwhile cause. Thank you, Deputy Perkins. Another Distinguished Service Award, Deputy Suna Means. On September 11th, Deputy Suna Means participated in the Tour de Force Memorial Bike Ride to honor the emergency service officers who lost their lives September 1st, 2001, and help raise money for families of officers killed in the line of duty. Deputy Means, a 14-year veteran with our office, has made her name synonymous with riding for good causes since 2003. This year was her 6th consecutive year in which Deputy Means participated in the Tour de Force Memorial Bike Ride. Participants departed from the Boston Marathon finish line and traveled 280 miles on bicycles to Ground Zero, New York City. Each participant in the Tour de Force is required to raise $1,250 in sponsor funds and provide his or her own transportation, including the shipping of the rider's bicycle to and from the event, and to provide for her own meals. With a little help from her friends, Deputy Means raised $6,700 this year. Great job. The ride overall raised $500,000, just a little bit more than $500,000. Deputy Means' tenacity and perseverance in support of the 911 victims and their families symbolizes what is best at the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office. Thank you, Suna. Commendation for Deputy Danetta Johnson and Deputy Kendrick Thomas. Yes, they are. Between July 2014 and September 2014, Deputies Danetta Johnson and Kendrick Thomas performed in the capacity of wing supervisors to cover for Lieutenant Lyons or shift sergeants who were on vacation or away from the jail. Both deputies displayed an ability to work with whomever and wherever they were assigned. They showed a high level of confidence in their ability to make good, sound decisions in regard to various incidents they were exposed to, and they were able to maintain their positive attitudes when faced with demands of the inmates they dealt with. Because of their positive attitudes and strong work ethics, both deputies were able to work with their peers in a supervisory capacity and accomplish the many additional tasks in preparation for our annual Florida Model Jail Standard Inspection and the Florida Corrections Accreditation Commission reaccreditation audit. Thank you very much, Deputy Johnson and Deputy Thomas. Next, I'm going to call up my bodyguard, Deputy Clinton Williams. Yeah! He's going to receive the Exceptional Duty Award.
Is it true they were stealing your canteen money before he became your
Absolutely.
bodyguard? Yes.
Absolutely. And now I have to call him Daddy. On April 8th, 2014, while traveling home from work through inclement weather, Deputy Clinton Williams witnessed a bus loaded with workers swerve and flip over on State Road 70. Deputy Williams immediately stopped to render aid and called 911. He helped the occupants of the vehicle, guiding them to a safe location away from the crash. He remained on scene until additional deputies and rescue arrived. Deputy Williams was able to provide valuable information to the responding personnel regarding the incident. Deputy Williams' actions and selflessness facilitated an expedient response for all involved in this crash. Thank you for a quick response, Daddy.
Now, a little short story. Clinton came by my office about a month ago to borrow the van because we had some trainers or something, right, Clinton? And he walked around my office, wanted to know where his picture with me was. Yeah, well, I'm going to get it now. I'm going to hang it right in the middle of my wall, okay? So it can be there from now on. We're going to get that covered, Clint. Best part are all these letters I receive each and every month about what you guys and girls do I'm going to only share two today because we have Thanksgiving feast outside. The first one, sir, I wanted to thank your department formally for your Deputy Snow's involvement with the accident where I was hit on my bike. He was very professional and also did a great job of calming me down afterwards. I appreciate what he did and how it was handled. Thanks again. You have some great guys there. I'll just add we have some great guys and girls here. Stuart Heisler. So that was received via email. The next one was the best one of the month. Don't get these too many times. It came from a John Tiffany on Nebraska Avenue. It came via email. Dear Sir, on October 2nd of this year, I had the terrible misfortune of being arrested on a warrant. Detective Pearson treated me with dignity and respect during this arrest and went above and beyond and helped me through the process in safeguarding my property. While I often read so much negative press about law enforcement, I wanted to take this opportunity to commend this truly deserving officer. So here's a guy that went to jail, arrested by us, and he writes me a commendation letter. That says a lot right there. Again, we have Thanksgiving feast right out here. I can't thank each of you enough for what you do. And let's not forget the events of this past weekend remind us how dangerous your jobs really are and what you face each and every day. Be safe out there, keep up the good work, and you and your families have a fantastic Thanksgiving. God bless you all.